again. It's November 19th, and we're continuing to talk about Grandpa's time in Europe during the war. So we were just talking about Saint Dizier, and after the whole war effort in that point in time, including your guys' effort in Saint Dizier was successful, you were then moved to Hasselt, Belgium, which is in eastern Belgium near the German border. Northeastern. And that was about February of '45 that you moved from Saint Dizier to Hasselt.
And there's my memory. So
can you talk a little bit about the Hasselt area and the Air Force Base itself?
Well, like I said, it was one that the engineers, I guess, it was their task to create a runway and taxi strips and parking aprons and so on in a previously probably agricultural area.
So there was no airstrip there previously?
No, nothing there. No. And it was in an area that was devoted to coal mining.
So was it ready to go when you got there? Was the airstrip or the air base even finished?
It was pretty well in place, yes. Yeah, I would say that it was, yeah.
So the airstrip itself was, you could fly in and fly out and do that sort of thing. How about the rest of the compound? Were the barracks up and ready to go? Was the mess all up and ready to go?
No, there was a lot of facilities that they were still in the process of moving equipment and materials into, and for instance, we had to spend maybe, the pilots I should say, spent maybe the first week and a half living with Belgian families that were close to the air base.
Did they walk you in, or was it the sort of thing that you just said, oh, we're living here, guys?
No, they were as excited about it as we were.
Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't, outside of, a couple of hours plus sleeping, why that's about, all the time we had. But I remember distinctly our own mess facilities for eating and so on were far enough along, so that's where we had all our meals. We didn't have to depend on them because first of all they didn't have much food to start with. They had been occupied by Germany for quite a few years. Yeah. And so it was a whole new life for them as far as, but there again, they were very, very happy and appreciative that they had been liberated and that part of the war was over for them. And so the one thing that of course it wasn't just the experience as far as Belgium was concerned, but we were constantly reminded that the language difference was much more easily handled by the children than it was the adults, and so a lot of the time that you did spend as far as the family interchange of speech was handled through the children.
Once you got to Hasselt, what was the goal of the Allied effort at that point in time? Yeah.
Well, we were off of the Battle of the Bulge was over, and we'd gone from pretty defensive activities there to the whole thing had been changed so that we were back on the offensive. Yeah.
And what were you trying to attack?
There was a lot of our targets there were old air. Everything had been previously bombed, but there was always a storage tank or a.
What would it store? What type of stuff did it store? Fuel? Or
a lot of them we really didn't know until you could either get it to burn, and sometimes it probably was some chemical that was needed as far as war to provide some sort of either I really don't know exactly what they contain, chemical wise, but
what other sorts of targets were you trying to take out?
Oh, like I said, old airfields was another one.
Fuel sources.
As we had been right along, any kind of railroad activity was a good, was so-called fair game, you might say. Yeah.
So the whole effort was to try to weaken or remove this industrial area that had been the industrial engine.
Yeah.
For
the
German.
the German war effort, so to speak.
And this area was known as the Ruhr Pocket.
Yeah, the Ruhr Valley.
Ruhr Valley.
Yeah, which became the Ruhr Pocket. Became a pocket when they surrounded it from all sides. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that gives us a lot about Hasselt.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wrap up there, and then we'll continue with something more in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.